chaotic, and it has changed my life. I'm a fan of his ever since. I love this collection. Of his most legendary supermodels and more. The four queens of the runway. Fashion, New York Fashion Week is right around the corner. Librarian tonight, and that's because I came to read a bitch. Jaja's Atelier, bitch. Welcome back, y'all, to a brand new episode of Jaja's Atelier. It's your girl, and I'm fresh off vacation with a new do. Do you like my new bob? Now listen, I scoured the hair palettes of RVA. You know that's my favorite hair plug, honey, for the synthetic wigs, darling. And I have been looking for a new bob because y'all remember I had that other bob, but it was a little longer. I've never really gone this short, other than like for photo purposes. Like I've done like a 27 piece type of like a pixie cut. You know, in the black community we call it a 27 piece. The white folks call it a pixie cut. You know. But I've done that for like photo purposes, but I've never been out with it, you know, like out in the public. Because I have a thing, you know, especially with me being a black trans woman. I mean, a black woman, natural born woman, you know, a lot of them have a thing with hair anyway because of what society says. Well, it's even more so with black trans women. It's, you know, in my personal opinion, you know, you need really long hair in order to be the cunt, honey. And you know, I've just been slowly coming out of that, and I have been seeing Kelly Rowland. I don't even need to post a picture of it because this is the exact same bob that Kelly Rowland has. Told y'all I was gonna bob like this. And so, my brother Desmond, me, my sister Shannon, and my brother Desmond, we went out shopping Saturday because, you know, I went up there to spend some time with both of them and my nieces. I hadn't been up there in a while, and we decided to do an impromptu thrift trip, which is coming to you guys in a few days. But before we went to the thrift store, honey, you know, I always got to stop at the Hair Palace and RVA. Shout out to them. And so we walked in, and I'm looking for a bob. I see all these tattered bobs. And my brother Desmond goes, Jaja, what about this one? And I saw her. And now she's on my head. So I really, really like it. I really feel fishy in this bob. Let me just tell you. But anyway. So I got another episode of Thrift Trip coming to you guys. I shot some great content. Also, my sister Shannon, you know, the one that always says, why am I on camera? You know her, you love her. She's been in several episodes of my thrift trip. And, you know, here lately, I haven't had any help in shooting my content because we won't go there. But whenever I don't have help, she always stands in for me and helps me out. Well, I finally got her to start a photography Instagram page. She really thought of it all on her own. I don't know if her taking pictures of me, you know, started her in it, but she also takes pictures of nature. She's a fabulous cook. She loves kitchenware and, you know, different types of pots and sauces and seasonings. And so I told her, you know, take pictures of your food. And I mean, even the way she plates the food is very pretty. So it's like, you know, buy some, you know, go to the thrift store, you know, try to find some antique dishes that you could plate the food on. And she started her on Instagram. And I thought I was just so happy to see her happy about, you know, getting those creative juices flowing, you know. So y'all make sure y'all go follow my sister. I'm so proud of her. Her Instagram for her photography is Photos by Shan. And I have it up here. So please go follow her. She already got like a couple of likes and a couple of follows the day that we started it. So you'll be seeing her original content, and you'll definitely be seeing content that she does for me reposted on her page. So huge shout out to my sister Shannon. We're living our life in 2026, honey. The struggle, whatever struggles we all go through, whatever this government is throwing at us, honey, bitch, please. I look too fabulous to lay down on my back and let this government roll over on top of me. Okay, relax, release. Anyway, so listen. Um, Milan Fashion Week is in day 2. But I gotta wrap up London. Which how did I feel about London overall? I felt like London is really, this is like the second or third year London has really been popping out. You know, I've always said out of all the fashion weeks, London is perhaps, ooh, excuse me, that martini is repeating on me. London is perhaps my least favorite fashion week. But it's vastly becoming my third or second favorite. Cause honey, the girls showed out for London, honey. So I want to start off with Harris Reed. This show was absolutely phenomenal. A lot of people were saying, oh, it's the same thing every year. And it's really not. A lot of designers have their signature things, you know, and Harris Reed has his signature look for his, you know, his own namesake brand. And this is what it is, honey. Harris Reed is back better than ever with his sculptural psychedelic dream of an autumn-winter 2026 collection featuring the most pleasantly insane color and print combos. But wait, he is branching out and he served us his first bridal looks for this year's collection. Giving bridal wear fresh, edgy, and inclusive, you know, edge. So huge congratulations to Harris Reed. My favorite look of the whole show was this one. I would wear this on a date to dinner. I would wear this to the opera. I would wear this to go see a museum exhibit. I mean, the color combo, the print again, so sickening. I love that the model had her hair pulled back because this dress is very busy, but it's just, I love it. It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So huge congratulations to Harris Reed. We then have Patrick McDowell, who I'm not really familiar with, but listen, when the collection is inspired by one of my favorite photographers who is queer and who is also from Jersey, a town that I'm very familiar with, actually. He's from East Orange. I'm from Montclair. That's like right up the road. 07042. So my notes were wow, just wow. Patrick McDowell debuts an absolutely stunning collection inspired by one of my favorite photographers, George Platt Lens, known for his sultry, seductive work in the 30s and 40s. You know, he's shot for Vogue, several Women's Wear Daily, and he's also one of the pioneers of erotic queer photography. And this is back at a time when you weren't really supposed to be taking pictures like this because, you know, it was illegal to be queer back in those days. McDowell really not only embodied it, but modernized it perfectly. This collection was absolutely, it was chic. It was just sophistication at its highest. Casual sophistication at its highest. And I could, you know, when I was looking at this collection, it was more than half the looks. I could really see Olivia Dean wearing a lot of his stuff. And I would love to maybe see a brand ambassadorship for Olivia Dean because this is her zhuzh right here. Especially my favorite look. I would love to see her perform in this look right here. I love this. Honey. And yeah, it's simple. Yeah, it's everyday, but it's fabulous nonetheless. And I think people forget, I've been looking at all the comments online and, you know, checking the temperature for the shows that I was going to talk about. And a lot of people, listen, this is not haute couture week. This is ready to wear. So it's going to be shirts. It's going to be pants. It's going to be, you know, sweaters and trench coats. That's what mainstream is giving right now, and that's what people wear on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, we have to take it for what it is. And I always tell you guys, when I watch a fashion show, I take apart each look piece by piece. Which piece I like, which piece I don't like, which looks all together I would just wear as is styled on the runway. And so you have to remember that when you're watching the ready to wear shows. I'm seeing a lot of that even with the beginning of Milan Fashion Week. Maria Grazzi, just made her debut as creative director of Fendi. And I have been very critical of Maria Grazzi over here. Let me light a cigarette. I have been very critical of Maria Grazzi while she was, doing her tenure at Dior. And, as you learn, you grow. And over time, I don't know everything there is to know about fashion. I don't think anybody does, especially when fashion is art and art is subjective. But, the deeper I get into it, the more I learn. And the reason why Maria Grazzi, and I was having this conversation with one of my fashion girlfriends on Facebook. If y'all didn't know, I also have a Facebook. Same name as my Instagram. Check it out. And she was like, Maria Grazzi is successful wherever she goes because she doesn't give a fuck about the bells and the whistles and all the foo-la-la. Maria Grazzi sticks to making her customers feel wanted, making clothes that are relatable, comfortable, and that are versatile. Because, women are now going from the gym to the job to picking up the kids, dropping them off home, and going to happy hour. Then they have some that just go to work and then occasionally go out. Maria Grazzi makes clothes for everybody. And that's why even though we might not like the collections, but if you take her collections, piece by piece, from the coat to the pants to the shoes, it's a great collection. And there's pieces in there that all of us would love. Same with this. Same with any ready-to-wear collection. When it's, in my personal opinion, when we're talking about ready-to-wear, there really isn't a bad collection. Just bad pieces. Anyway, so huge congratulations. I just went on a whole tangent about Maria Grazzi, but, she just debuted at Fendi today. It's Wednesday, so bear with me. Again, huge congratulations to Patrick McDowell. And just a little bit more on... excuse me. Hold on, something's going on here. Just a little bit more on George Platt Lens. These are some of his photos. This one with the man with the side profile in the chair is my favorite. But the way he just embodies his subjects in his photographs, he's been one of my faves for a long time. So huge shout out to George Platt Lens. He's no longer with us, but huge shout out to him as well. My next show. Yummy. We have to talk about Connor Ives. This is also somebody I'm not very familiar with. This London Fashion Week, I'm trying to go with the more or less known, and maybe Connor Ives is well known amongst different circles. I'm personally not familiar with him, but I tried to stretch myself and really pay attention to the designers that I'm not very familiar with. And I was pleasantly surprised, this lisp, by Connor Ives' debut. From my notes, Connor Ives debuts an amazing Autumn-Winter 2026 collection entitled Narcissist, a bold, cheeky take on the aristocratic snob. When I saw this, there's a couple of designers who are giving me Moschino vibes. And I'm not talking about Jeremy Scott's Moschino. I'm talking about the original Moschino, the, founder of the Moschino brands, who, also oftentimes used to poke fun at other designers. He would poke fun at, Karl Lagerfeld and Mugler. And I'm seeing that a lot with, this younger crop of designers. And I saw that a lot with this as well. My favorite look is this one right here. I absolutely loved this. I don't know why I like it. It's random. The top doesn't go with the bottom. But it's something about it that I really loved. And the silhouettes of this collection were very high society, aristocratic, socialite. But they were quirky and they were, not all the way right. It was something pleasantly awkward about them. I love the accessories. I love the bold prints. So huge congratulations to Connor Ives. And also the cast of models was very inclusive, including Pose star Dominique Jackson, she is mother of the dolls, honey. When it comes to that ballroom and that runway, Dominique Jackson modeled for Mugler in several of their runway shows over the last couple of years. So it was nice to see her on the runway. Huge congratulations to Connor Ives again. Now, y'all might call me a little biased, for my favorite show out of them all. And no, it's not Richard Quinn. I was a little bored with Richard Quinn. I still love Richard Quinn, but it was a little boring. We got to give it up to Tolu Coker. Honey, the British Nigerian queen, the only designer who could bring out the King Charles, who sat front row at her show, and he looked like he was really enjoying himself. The collection is entitled Survivor's Remorse. For this collection, the British Nigerian designer pulled inspiration from her upbringing in the 90s in London and also the wardrobe from the iconic movie Clueless, with its preppy aesthetic and bold, bright colors, making proper style staples improper and more relaxed, as well as her native Britain in its totality. In an interview, Coker stated that this collection was all about grief, aspiration, assimilation, and coming back to oneself. Listen, not only did she have Prince Charles in the front row, but she also had UK rapper, who I believe is also Nigerian as well, Sims, who performed, and the song that she performed really set the tone for the show. It matched perfectly with what the show was all about. Again, I don't have a favorite look for this collection because I loved it all. It was more than a fashion show. It was really an experience. It was really a coming into her own. Tolu Coker has been doing this for a while now, and I've talked about her over the years on this show, but this show felt a lot different. This was like her big girl coming out show, and I think every Black fashion lover who was, consuming London Fashion Week or, present during London Fashion Week, this was like, we all were proud. We were all proud to see Tolu Coker do her thing. I mean, just absolutely stunning. And I have to say, this is her best collection that I've seen personally to date. So huge congratulations to everybody that presented this London Fashion Week. Y'all did y'all big one. It was really, really hard to choose my favorites. So listen, let's keep the ball rolling here. And since we're in London, we might as well just stay here for a bit and touch on all the controversy and historic wins around the Bafta Awards. But before I get to the actual award show, we got to get to the red carpet, honey. Nobody does it like Tiana Taylor. Tiana Taylor is, I don't know, where the hell is Zendaya at? I don't know where the hell Zendaya at, but girl, if you don't come get your spot, honey, Tiana Taylor is taking it all. Tiana Taylor looked absolutely stunning in this Burberry satin organza trench coat. The short hair really compliments her. She's getting ready to play Dionne Warwick in an upcoming biopic, which I'm really excited about. And oddly enough, this could be Dionne Warwick's daughter. She really, when somebody showed me the side by side, I was like, wow. And she's got that husky voice that Dionne Warwick has. I can't wait to see that. Now, that's a movie that I'm going to go to the theater and see. Also, sidebar, do you guys like my jacket? You know who picked this out for me? My sister Shannon picked this out for me. She said, you need to wear this on the show. Honey, this is giving Rolanda Watts, honey. Hello, I'm Rolanda Watts. Y'all know I love Rolanda. She is such a stud queen, but I love Rolanda Watts. Anyway. So it was this gorgeous plum color on Tiana Taylor. I absolutely love this. I also, now getting to the award ceremony itself, I also have to give a huge congratulations to Ryan Coogler and the entire cast of Sinners. This is a quote from People magazine. Sinners makes history at the Bafta Film Awards as the most decorated film by a Black director. On Sunday, February 22nd, the Ryan Coogler directed vampire thriller earned 3 bronze masks for Best Original Screenplay, Best Original Score, and Best Supporting Actress. Please let me not mess up her name because I love her. Wunmi Mosaku at the 79th annual British Academy Film Festival Awards. So huge congratulations to them. I'm gonna play a little bit of Ryan Coogler's speech as soon as I pull it up here. Take a look at this.
Bafta goes to Ryan Coogler, Sinners!
Hey, I didn't expect that. This is nerve-wracking. And I always felt at home here. The first time I came here was 2014. And the driver picked me up from the airport, and I was nervous first time in the UK. And I told him where I was from, and he told me that Marcus Garvey had an apartment here. And he went out of his way to show me where it was. Cut the meter off, and I felt at home ever since. It's crazy. I'm nominated with some incredible writers. I share this with y'all. Y'all already won by being here, so I'm gonna speak as a representative of y'all. Joachim was actually my mentor. I met him over a decade ago. He showed me how to be a better writer, a better filmmaker. I always love him, and I love his movie, and I love all you guys' movies.
Wow. You know, he just comes off like, listen, I just want to make my movies and go home. Like, I don't even think he thought he was going to win. You see at the beginning, he was like, oh shit, you know. So huge congratulations to Ryan Coogler. And you know, again, I know I've said this before, because of my upbringing, in the religion I was brought up in, the movie said I was not allowed to watch horror movies. I still to this day do not like. I think the only horror movie I really like is The Fog. You know that one where they got stuck in the grocery store because those big scary spiders were eating them and chasing the people, all of that. That's the only horror movie like I can really watch over and over again. I was not allowed to watch that kind of stuff. I remember when my dad, we went in middle school, we had a field trip to go see Harry Potter. And my dad, at the time in the town I lived in, he was an administrator, and he was like, oh yeah, you can go, whatever. And bought me all the Harry Potter books. And honey, my mom was pissed. My mom did not play that. We weren't allowed to play with no Ouija board. We weren't allowed to do none of that kind of stuff. And, as you get older, you start thinking for yourself. And I wasn't going to watch Sinners at first because it has a lot to do with hoodoo and voodoo and vampires and that kind of thing. And we were always taught as kids, especially as black kids, we don't fool with that kind of stuff. Black kids in a religious household, oh no, we don't do no Ouija board. We don't do no step on a crack, break your mama back. We don't do none of that. And as I get older and I get more interested in learning about African culture, voodoo and hoodoo was painted as something that was so evil and so, disgusting and, revolting. And it wasn't. And it's crazy how often we've been conditioned to turn our backs on our own history, our own culture. So I ended up watching it, and it was an amazing movie. It's so many hidden meanings, and just he did his big one with this. So huge congratulations again to the whole cast of Sinners. Speaking of the cast of Sinners, hold on, let me pull my notes. You know, we gotta get to the controversy, honey. We gotta get to the controversy. So the night didn't go off without, hold on, guys. The night didn't go off without any drama, okay? So, now everybody's been talking about the racism that took place during and after, in my personal opinion, at the awards. There was an incident. So there is a man who had a movie that was made loosely based on his life, and he is somebody who has a disorder called Tourette's. Now you know what? I don't know. Listen, a lot of people know what Tourette's is. I know what Tourette's is because I believe I have a little touch of the Tourette's myself. You know, sometimes I'll be in the house and I'll be like, sucking dick from the back, make you wanna attack, boo-hoo-hoo. And I just can't, I can't believe I just said that. And sometimes I just can't help it. I'll be in the house just stemming like a bitch, like, you know, pussy, 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 pussy. Dick, 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 dick. You know, and it's just, I say the most vulgar things and I just can't help it. My sister be looking at me like, you're making me uncomfortable. Can you please stop? Shout out to Shannon. So, you know, and I knew a girl who had Tourette's, and she was a white girl, and me and her were really cool. You know, I would see her around town. This is back when I was in my 20s. I was working at Food Line, and she would come in all the time. And we would talk or whatever, and she would always, you know, when hers was, bitch, fuck, bitch, you know. And so, but I've never seen a racist Tourette's, so somebody who's racist that has Tourette's. And this man, John Davidson, completely interrupted Center Stars Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo with a racist outburst. Tourette's or not, it was racist and it was an outburst while they were presenting the first award of the evening. Take a look at this. It's really, really short and quick because I don't want to get flagged for, you know, showing the Baftas. But I'm going to play it twice for you guys. Make sure you pay attention.
Good evening. Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first Bafta of the night for a vital part of movie making.
I'm going to play it again.
Good evening. Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first Bafta of the night for a vital part of movie making.
So, where do I begin? So listen. First off, I didn't hear you have any other outbursts other than nigger bitch. And I just found out today that he also dropped the F-bomb, you know, rhymes with maggot. Okay, faggot. While a gay actor was presenting, I can't remember the actor's name. Here's the thing with this. Yes, you have Tourette's, but who's to say that you didn't use that as an excuse to disrespect people who don't look like you? Because it's easy for me to pretend I have Tourette's. I mean, when you went up there, if I was in the audience, I had said, you know, inbred, quacker, pedophile, fat ass, ugly. Oh my God, I have Tourette's. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? It was very specific. It was very MAGA-ish. It was very specific. And I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And before I started talking about this, I said racism during and after, because there were so many things that the BBC broadcasting network cut out. There was another person who won an award and was talking about freeing Palestine in their acceptance speech, and you completely cut that. You also cut the homophobic slur that was directed at a queer white winner. So why wasn't this taken out? Even if he did have Tourette's, okay? And, you know, he said what he said. Why didn't you take it out? And also, why didn't Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan get an apology? Delroy Lindo said they ain't say shit to me after the fact. So, and it's just like, stop playing in our face. That's the thing. I'm not upset that they say nigger and they say these awful things, because ain't no telling. I say lots of nasty things about certain types of white people. Y'all have heard me say it over here. Crackers, red belly, possum tail eating, squirrel eating, inbred, canine, Neanderthal. I mean, I've said all of this on this show, so and listen, I was raised, my mother always raised me like, my mother does not let that racist shit bother her. You know, now if you get up in her face with it, then it's a different situation. But just to hear a white person going off about black people, 9 times out of 10, it's some inbred meth addict, possum tail stew making cracker from West Bubblefuck somewhere that has that kind of, you know, that's bold enough and stupid enough to say it out loud. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't bother me. But what really bothers me is the playing on my top, like playing on my intelligence, like we don't know what the fuck is going on here. So Jonathan Davidson released a statement. Of course, he played the victim. This is him, by the way. Look familiar? It's given a Harvey Weinstein, Trump, Mitch McConnell combo, isn't it? Anyway, so I got these quotes from Complex Magazine, and he goes on to say, I have spent my life trying to support and empower the Tourette's community and to teach empathy, kindness, and understanding from others, and I will continue to do so. I chose to leave the auditorium early into the ceremony, as I was aware of the distress my tics were causing. I am deeply mortified if anyone considers my involuntary tics to be intentional. Well, be deeply mortified and go and find an open field and lay flat on your stomach, and don't get up until white Jesus calls you, because you're full of shit. You're full of shit. And if you knew that your involuntary tics included racial slurs, you should have kept your fat honky ass at home. And that's that on that. Let's go. And also, before I do go, I have to say, Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan handled that very well. I wouldn't have been as nice. And I don't think we should be as nice. Anyway, speaking of racism, honey, I'm going to touch on this real quick. So last night was the State of the Union. It was the longest State of the Union speech in American history. And it was filled with nothing but buffoonery and lies. Okay? It was just a hot ass mess. I didn't watch it. I saw the clips online. I think the way that they did Representative Al Green was absolutely disgusting. You know, I think it was about a year ago when Trump first won and had his first State of the Union, when Representative Green got put out. Well, he came, some of the Democrats didn't show up, some of them did. I personally, and I've thought long and hard about this, I don't think any of them should have showed up, because this is what fuels him. And so Representative Green showed up with this picture, Black people aren't apes, after Trump depicted Michelle and Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama, as apes in that AI automated online video on Twitter. I mean, it was like watching, I don't know if you've ever seen that picture of Ruby Bridges where she's entering the school as a Black girl and they're starting to integrate the Black and white children and they're spitting on her and they're pulling at her back. That's what this looked like. Absolutely disgusting. But I'm going to tell you something. Representative Ilhan Omar is not the bitch to fuck with, okay? Because she was not here for any of it. Speaking truth to power and not backing down. Take a look at this video of Representative Ilhan Omar going back and forth. Well, not going back and forth because he completely ignored her, but speaking truth to power right in Trump's face. Take a look at this. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, guys. Don't tell me I don't have it in here. Here we go.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal.
Honey, now, though I appreciate what she did, Representative Omar, I love you, girl, but it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. It was no point in you even going. When I saw the clip and they put the split screen, y'all know Trump loves a cantankerous split screen moment, honey. That is a stunt queen. You gave him exactly what he wanted. Exactly what he wanted. But I understand why she did it. She is very protective over the Somalian people and all the immigrants in Minnesota, which, Minnesota is still a war zone right now. And so I understand her frustration. I understand why she went there, but I don't think any of you Democrats should have showed up. I don't think any of you should have showed up. I think you should have had you not shown up, it would have been 2 hours of him he just rambled. All the clips I saw. Then the U.S. Olympic hockey team, men's hockey team was there. What the hell are they doing here? We need to know, when are we getting affordable health care back? And when is y'all going to put this man in the dirt? Because he looked like he died 2 weeks ago. We're not here to talk about ice hockey, bitch. I mean, I don't even care anymore. I didn't pay any attention to the news until I came back home yesterday. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck anymore, because eventually all this shit is going to come to an end. Hitler was 1,000 times more intelligent. And I don't like Hitler. I don't stand for anything he did. But I mean, god damn, he had more sense than Trump. And even he got taken down. So it's only a matter of time. Like I said on the last episode, the walls are closing in. Anyway, so on to my last story, and I'm going to make this quick. So, listen. A lot of people do not like Claressa Shields. They make fun of her. They make fun of her relationship with Papoose the rapper. They make fun of her looks. And the way she just doesn't give a fuck and gets up and just keeps on going is inspiring to me. But what made me like her even more, and I got to give this young lady her credit, I have been watching her and this other young lady. Hold on, let me pull it up to make sure I got it right. Her name is Frashon Cruz Dezern. Her and Claressa Shields, apparently they were friends at one point in time and then they fell out, but they were both boxers. Frashon I don't think she really wanted to fight Claressa Shields. And after seeing the ass whooping that Claressa put on that girl, I wouldn't want to fight her either. But they had been going back and forth. There's a video here that I have of their weigh-in, which turned into absolute chaos. As she headbutted Claressa Shields. I mean, they were going back and forth online days leading up to the fight, weeks leading up to the fight. And I'm going to show you a clip of the fight itself. Claressa is in the green, honey. Honey. The way she was, because that girl was getting her licks in. I mean, it was one time she got her square in the motherfucking mouth. And Claressa is eating them punches up like gummy bears, bitch. I had never seen her fight. Layla Ali, listen, you will forever be the queen of boxing. But honey, I wouldn't have fought that bitch neither. But after all that was said and done, after the fight was over, of course, Claressa Shields won, honey. The girls had a really, really touching moment. And at a time when disrespect and gaslighting is at an all-time high, her and Claressa Shields had a real moment. Take a look at this. They're apologizing to each other. They're really talking it out. They fought it out. I mean, I really thought that this was a beautiful moment between two powerful black women in sports. You know, yeah, they took it to the ring. They knuckled up. But at the end of it, it was like, you know, I love you, girl. It's all good. You know, we might not be friends anymore, but I still love you and I still have respect for you. And that's the kind of sportsmanship that's missing in entertainment, in music, in fashion, in podcasting, and in sports, and most certainly in politics. So, you know, the more I hear this girl talk and the more, no, she is not the most, you know, she's not a glamazon. No, she's not the most articulate. But you know what? She is real. She is authentically who she is. And I like who she is. So huge shout out to Claressa Shields. What a way to kind of get close to the end of Black History Month. I really enjoyed it. I watched that fight. You know, I don't usually watch boxing. I think the last boxing match I watched was Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and that was almost 10 years ago. I think that was Mayweather's last huge fight. And I was only there for the baby shower meatballs and the wingdings and the potato salad, honey. I wasn't really there to watch the fight. So this was my first time actually watching a fight, so I was like, whoa. Claressa Shields is like a dump truck on these bitches. Anyway, this was a really good episode. I enjoyed myself. I'll be back to wrap up Milan Fashion Week in about a week. So, till then, ciao.